Good morning, Christopher Martin.
Zane Lowe.
From the band Coldplay. William Champion.
Hello.
So, can we get, because we're getting progress reports from all of our favourite musicians who promised to return.
Who else?
The Beastie Boys.
Yeah, great.
Mike D in the house. We spoke to Nikolai from the Strokes.
Oh, great.
Brilliant.
What can we expect a little bit, even though it's still a work in progress from this new Coldplay record, given that Viva La Vida, you know, sound-wise was a lot of different textures, a lot of different ideas on that record?
Well, it's just got everything we can think of. It's about many things now.
I read somewhere that you've come out and said that it's a concept record.
That was, well, just not, I don't know who, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I didn't really mean, I don't really know.
It started already, Will. The Chris Martin.
Well, no, the point is, it's about love and addiction and OCD and escape and working for someone you don't like. It's about lots of things. But I guess it's all tied together by something. But
these are fabulously direct and very visceral topics. I mean, things like love and addiction and OCD, and these things affect a lot of people in very different ways. And a lot of times,
it's just about it's basically a thinly veiled account of what happens within the group, but with hopefully a bit more poetry.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
Well, we've come to expect that from you and your band, and you're very good at it, mixing all those sort of horrendously depressing topics in a sweet and poetic
but
way.
The thing is, it also has a lot of quite positive stuff.
It's an uplifting record, do you think, overall?
Well, I think it's time for us to kind of, which is supposed to be about life, the good stuff and the bad stuff, everything.
Exactly. There's a phrase which my wife told me, which is from a book. I can't remember which book it is, but a man is asked, he's asked, "Are you married?" And he says, "Of course I'm married. I have a wife, kids, the whole catastrophe." And the catastrophe just means something big and seismic and
out of control,
not necessarily bad. I think.
You know what the headline's going to be now?
No, but it's sweet because
it'll be a relief for you to finally have someone else out there, right?
Now you'll see how it feels.
But I think it's lovely because it's all about embracing everything, the whole thing, you know, the good and the bad, and appreciating that it's all part of life.
So we got Chris Martin and Will Champion from Coldplay hanging out right now, and it's the Radio 1 Breakfast Show.
How does it feel to be on breakfast?
I'm loving it right now, given that we haven't started. It's some DeLorean magic act. So it all begins again this year, 2011, with the release of a record.
Possibly, yeah.
You can't tell me that we're talking now and we'll be talking again this time next year about the record.
Who knows?
Oh my God, Kevin, you're right.
Well, so I'm not going to lie to you. It's a strange thing being a band in this day and age. So we won't come back until we have a tiny bit more confidence than we have today.
Has that ever happened?
A little bit. It would be nice to have a little bit more. And I think we have potential to make something okay.
This is integral to the creative process of Coldplay, though, because I've known you right from the very start and all the way through. And I would liken you to other bands like Radiohead and pretty much anybody who's trying to make greatness. That, you know, a certain lack of confidence, a certain paranoia about your own abilities is part of what drives the process. Will, would you agree?
I would agree. It is important. It's also, when you're in a studio, it's difficult to feel any kind of what other people might be thinking about your music because you're so isolated. So that does drive the
Not if you go on the internet.
Well,
you don't do that.
Stay away.
Well, only if you want to bring yourself down.
Not during the making of a record. Not during the making of a record.
No, it's a bad idea.
Well, sometimes if you get a bit cocky and think, God, this song is amazing.
The internet's great for that. It'll bring you right down.
Something and just remind yourself.
You type Zane Lowe into Google, you'll find 37 pages before you find a kind word, I swear.
That's not true.
It's true. At one point, I was number 37, I think, in the 500 people more annoying than Mick Hucknall.
Wow.
Well, imagine how Mick Hucknall feels.
I was higher than but it's his party. He's hosting the party. Right? I'm on the guest list. I'm at 37. I'm higher than a lot of despots out there. I'm just saying. I don't know where I am now.
A lot of people are jealous because Mick Hucknall has so much hair. And a lot of men who probably write evil things don't have so much.
I'm just jealous of the ruby filling. That's a gangster.
Yeah, well, Brian Eno has a gold tooth. That's cool.
Yeah, but that's old school. That's like when it's all they had to replace teeth. Sorry, Brian, that was awful. Ouch! I've never even met the man. He's a genius. I just went in on the ages.
He is a genius, but he is 96.
Who cooks a mean breakfast in the studio?
We're very lucky because we have a place that makes croissants and stuff just around the corner.
You do a continental.
Yeah,
continental during recording.
We do a coffee run. In fact, Marcus,
unless we're on diet.
Marcus, our producer, walks past every day, so he brings all the coffees in the morning.
Nice.
He likes the girls who work in there, I think.
I'll do a coffee run. Yeah, I skip breakfast. I tend to skip it.
Yeah,
I think it's important though. With kids, if they don't have breakfast, it's a disaster. So I kind of take a leaf out of their book.
You eat their breakfast, basically, don't you? That they don't
eat
finish.
Their porridge.
And kids and drummers.
Porridge?
You've got to feed them.
You make your kids porridge?
Yeah.
What do you want, the bread line? That's awful. Come on.
What do you mean?
Porridge, rough.
No, if he said gruel, like a problem.
Oats and water, I'm sorry.
No, it's made with milk. It's delicious.
Little honey on top?
Bit of golden syrup.
No honey.
You can't slag off porridge.
Got to earn the honey.
You can't just get the breakfast show and then slag off everyone's favourite porridge.
I am on the breakfast show right now for 1 week, and it will probably be 1 week only, and I'm laying down the law on porridge.
You start slagging off cereals, you're never going to last.
So a couple more minutes before we have to let you go, and we will leave you in peace after that to
What are
finish
you
this
looking
record.
forward to this year?
Well, I'm looking forward to a Coldplay record. And I'm
Thank
not
you,
just
Sam.
saying
Apart
that,
from
obviously.
Well, you are just saying that. What's the next
No,
thing?
I'm not just saying that.
Well, what
Strokes
else?
Martin.
record.
Strokes record. I'm looking forward to what the Foo Fighters do. You know what I'm really looking forward to is a new Shadow record. I'm really looking forward to Death Cab for Cutie record. I keep stalling myself, but I want to be surprised. I can't wait to hear the bands that haven't come out yet that will come out this year, and that happens every year. There's a whole bunch of bands that we talk about at the end of a year that we hadn't even heard of the year before.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that. That's a big part of why I do what I do, so I can discover.
And I think Britain is the best country in the world at bringing new people.
Without a shadow of a doubt, it's. I mean, it is really to me the HQ of hybrid music, of pulling things together.
It really is. It really is.
What about you? I mean, do you guys listen to records when you're in the studio? Or do you try and keep pretty focused on what you're doing?
Listen to as much as possible, and that's a great thing about the internet is you can listen to, Tiny Temper 1 minute and Beethoven the next.
So we're going to leave you alone to finish this record.
Thank you.
And we, fingers crossed. At some point, we're going to get it in before the summer, and then I guess you would be hoping at some point to be able to play shows without getting too far ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
And that would be nice, wouldn't it?
It seems like an awfully long way away, I have to say.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff
But it's
to do
not,
before
though.
then. I know.
It's
you always say that
months,
about
not a year.
say that about West Country, Will.
I know. It is a long way away.
Never wanted to come.
But
to
you don't
that.
have to worry because you're the best player in the band.
Well,
That's true.
You
yeah.
are.
Right.
You are. Gentlemen, I wish you a fantastic end to this record. I hope that you
Thank
take
you.
from this interview just a small smidgen of extra confidence.
Zane, thanks for talking to us, and thanks for your patience and kindness.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. But I wish you all the best, and we'll see you with music to talk about.
Okay.
all right.
Merry breakfast.
And you-